Secretary, Department of Cultural Affairs, Government of Maharashtra. Professor Arun Menon, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras. Shri Sumant Pashte, Under Secretary, Department of Cultural Affairs, Government of Maharashtra. Dr. Tejas Garge, Director, Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Maharashtra. Srimati Meenal Zogrekar, Director, PLD. And Shri Hemant Dharmi, Deputy Director, Directorate of Archaeology and Museums. कविवर्य राजा निळकंठ बडे यांनी लिहिलेले आणि श्रीनिवास खळे यांनी संगीतबद्ध केलेले जय जय महाराष्ट्र माझा हे महाराष्ट्राचे अधिकृत राज्यगीत आहे. या गीतामधून महाराष्ट्र राज्याच्या समृद्धीचे आणि शौर्याचे गुणगान करणारे हे देशभक्तिपूर्ण गीत आहे. मी तुम्हा सगळ्यांना विनंती करते महाराष्ट्र गीतासाठी आपण उभं राहावं. On behalf of the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Maharashtra, I welcome you all for the two-day National Conference on Conservation and Management of Built Heritage of Maharashtra. India is a country rich in various cultures and traditions, which is reflected in its historical architecture. Similarly, Maharashtra's rich historical and cultural legacy is reflected in its architecture, which ranges from the state's ancient temples and palaces to its colonial era structures. In a world that is changing swiftly, heritage structures and buildings preserve a feeling of continuity and identity. As India celebrates the Amrit Mahotsav of Independence, the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Maharashtra, has organized this conference to reflect upon the diverse conservation approaches adopted for various needs and initiate a dialogue between conservation practitioners, experts, and decision makers. I would like to invite Srimati Nanda Rao to felicitate Shri Janvit Sharma. I invite Shri Sumant Pashte to felicitate Professor Arun Menon. I invite Srimati Meenal Zogrekar to felicitate Srimati Nanda Raut. We begin any auspicious occasion by lighting a lamp. I request all the dignitaries to please do the honors. We both, Deputy Secretary, Department of Cultural Affairs, Government of Maharashtra. Ma'am, please do the honors.
First of all, I welcome our ADG sir, Sharma sir. He is just for the conference, he is before us, means in time. I welcome our IITN sir, Mr. Menon. He is from Conservation IIT Chennai, and he is having his expertise in conservation part. I welcome our here. I think some architects are there, and also some conservation expertise, our cultural staff, and during this Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, Maharashtra government has designed so many programs, and this conference is one part of that program. Mainly our Honorable Sudhir Mungantiwar sir, Minister of Cultural Affairs, he is always having some innovative ideas, and means he finds some way to have some brainstorming sessions or some solution oriented programs, so that this will help government of Maharashtra to redesign or reframe our policies regarding many aspects. And one major aspect of our department is conservation and management of the monuments. In these monuments, we have total 387 monuments and 13 to 14 museums. But monuments also covers forts and temples. So we have major challenges in this conservation part, that is structurally and for the conservation material also and the manpower. So this is a conference which will bring all the stakeholders of these archaeology departments at the one roof. And we will have this 2 days conference will lead us to some constructive policy making areas, and means whatever challenges you are facing, and if government is government can help you out in those aspects, then we are always ready to have a dialogue with you all. So also we are missing today. I am missing our principal secretary, because Vikas Kharge sir, he is always having some new things in his mind. So conference and brainstorming sessions is his vision, and but for the training purpose he is not there in the auditorium. But we will lead this 2 days conference with some specific motivation and intention that government of Maharashtra will always come with you for any difficulties or any problem you are facing in your fields. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the welcome address. I now invite Dr. Tejas Garge for the introductory note.
Vande Mataram, Namaskar, honorable dignitaries on the dais, my friends from Archaeological Survey of India, conservation architects, staff from Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, historians and heritage enthusiasts. It is indeed my privilege to welcome you all for first ever conference in the history of Directorate dedicated to the subject of archaeological conservation. Thank you, Raut Madam, for giving us a perfect backdrop of events under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And today's conference is part of the same series. Generally, departments send requests for such academic ideas, but in case of today's conference, it actually came from the top. Honorable Minister was surprised to know that there is no conference planned when we submitted our proposals, and his instructions were very clear to establish dialogue involving experts of heritage conservation. And here we are. After formation of state of Maharashtra, there was a Directorate of Archives and Archaeology. In 1977, we became separate, and now we have a Directorate of Archaeology and Museums. And you will be surprised to know, sir, that the budget for conservation was merely in thousands, as informed by the previous director. In 1993, there was an earthquake of Latur, and after that, World Bank gave us generous funding for overall development and conservation of monuments, and probably that was the only project which was carried out departmentally involving entire staff, and that was our first-hand experience. But you will be surprised to know that when we submitted our estimates for 12th and 13th finance plan, they were rejected by Archaeological Survey of India, because we had proposed heavy duty use of cement and so many modern methods of conservation. So we had to regroup, reorganize, and resubmit. And you will be surprised to know that even director was skeptical. ये चूना लगा के खड़ा रहेगा building? Are you sure? Even engineers were afraid because they had never worked with lime. So thanks to ASI that they came to our rescue, and we had sent our conservation staff to Mandu for conservation training, and there they got first-hand experience of lime training. Some of the conservation architects empaneled with department were also part of it. And then came the policy of empanelment of conservation architects and having contractors. So this policy was very well placed around 2014, and then only large-scale works could be taken up. And from this situation, we have come a long way to a directorate which handles projects worth 100 crore each. And money talking monetary values is not important. But I think what is important is change in focus. Now we have to have conservation and management plan before we actually jump into conservation work. Otherwise, usual practice was to prepare estimates and साहब को चाहिए होता है वो कुछ तो भी CCMP, and now this vocabulary is also being used by the chief secretary and others in the bureaucracy. So now they are aware of what conservation and management plan is, and I think you will see an example of Jejuri temple when we proceed through the day. So in today's conference, in first session, we will be discussing about temple architecture or religious spaces and the challenges that we are facing today and how we are trying to overcome that. Second session is dedicated for the defense architecture, which remains pretty important for the state of Maharashtra, wherein a lot of emotional value is attached to the forts, fortifications by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So conservation of those forts remains the primary focus of government of Maharashtra. Third session, which is taking place tomorrow morning, is dedicated to World Heritage Matters and Urban Heritage. Unfortunately, sir is not around. Otherwise, he was more interested into that session. But today we are expecting some guidelines from him dedicated to that section also. And each of this section is planted with a talk by a superintending archaeologist from Aurangabad, Nagpur and Mumbai circles, dedicated to each sections and ongoing conservation works. And of course, we look forward to validity address by Professor Arun Menon, IIT Chennai, who will be closely observing us, and I hope to have a constructive output out of this exercise. I wish you all a very successful and fruitful deliberations. I thank Shri Sudhir Mungantiwar, Honorable Minister for Culture, Forest and Fisheries, for conceptualizing and approving this series of conferences. And I thank Shri Vikas Khage, Principal Secretary, Culture and CMO, who is always a solid pillar of strength in all our endeavors. And I'm thankful to Janvik sir for accepting our invitation and to grace this conference with his inaugural address. Sir, we are planning to put all the deliberations with name of each individual scholar on YouTube, and we are expecting a more viewership in future. I think now days of publishing proceedings of conferences is over. There's a lot of online material that people refer to, and I hope these deliberations will be referred quite often in the future. And of course, I'm grateful to Professor Menon for his kind consent for validatory address, and I hope to have a long-term association with IIT Chennai in future. I'm grateful to Srimati Nanda Raut and Shri Pashte sir for all his support and for remaining present here today. I'm thankful to Mrs. Zogekar for providing all the on-site support, and of course my entire staff who has worked tirelessly to make this conference successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the introductory address.